and welcome back to my channel where we are all crime all black, all the time.
Big shout out to the leadattorney for this content. In this video, lat-attorney is breaking down the Fani Willis lawsuit from SA victim, who alleges Willis used her position to cover up the prosecution of her offender. A RICO charge is requested as relief for the victim. Here is lead attorney and co-host breaking down this case.
Damn. He got a whole wife. That's crazy. All right, I don't even know where we were.
We were at Alicia, the wife.
Read this again. Read number 9. That's insane.
So during the same jail phone calls, Arrington encouraged Monson's wife, Miss Alicia Monson, to harass Misha. Misha later sought a protective order against Mrs. Monson.
Oh, Lord, the wife is harassing the victim. She ride or die for real. She a ride or die for real. Shout out to Christ Law 1 says maybe they were separated. No, no, they are not separated. The wife is harassing Misha. That's ride or die.
Yep.
This is insanity, man. Insanity. And now, so Misha had to take a TPO out against the wife.
That is correct.
All right, number 10.
After the reference jail calls were publicly released in December of 2020, Defendant Commissioner Arrington resigned as Mr. Monson's attorney.
Okay, so the calls were released and Arrington resigned.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine, I suppose, but I don't really think he did. I mean, should he have? I don't think he did anything wrong except for being so tied in to Fanny's money.
Yeah.
He's so tied in with Fanny's money that him negotiating stuff with Fanny when he's involved with Fanny's money, that really can't be allowed. That cannot be allowed.
Mm-hmm.
But all the other stuff, I don't have a problem with at all. But that's an inherent conflict. That conflict is too big to be allowed. Okay, number 11.
Yeah, in January of 2021, District Attorney Madam Fani Willis was sworn in as a Fulton County District Attorney. As a top prosecuting official in Fulton County, DA Willis became responsible for the adjudication of Monson's criminal cases. Next, Fanny drops the ball. Negotiated plea for Monson. Although Arrington stepped down as Mr. Monson's criminal attorney, he continued to wield influence over the criminal case. Namely, he maintained that Mr. Paul Howard offered Monson a plea deal consisting of the alleged felony being reduced to a misdemeanor.
Now, let me stop right here. This is improper because if you are not an attorney, if you are not counsel of record, if you don't have an entry of appearance stating that you represent someone in court, you should not be maintaining anything. You should have no arguments about anything. You should not be in the case at all. So I don't know how he maintained that he had a good plea deal with Paul Howard when he had stepped down. So this is absolutely improper. If you are not on the case, you are not on the case. So this is a weird statement right here. Mm-hmm. All right, number 13.
Mr. Monson succeeding counsel repeatedly referenced to this plea deal and subsequent court proceedings against the state.
Nothing wrong with this at all.
Monson's subsequent counsel argued that the district attorney's office should stand behind this alleged plea deal even after Fanny assumed her position as a Fulton County DA.
100%. I mean, that's what this attorney should argue. 100%. Like, why start over? Why do all this over again? You could say, well, that was under the old district attorney. This is under new district attorney. That's right too. That's right too. But if you're going to represent this guy, you got to make the argument. There's nothing wrong with this. All right.
Although Monson ultimately was not offered the misdemeanor plea deal, Fanny did dismiss one of his aggravated stalking cases. Jeez. On the remaining aggravated stalking case, Fanny offered Monson a plea of 3 years to serve 1 in prison, the balance on probation, with the credit for the time he already served.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is what we would call this is what we call in the law, guys. We call this a sweetheart deal. But I'm going to be honest, this is sweeter than sweet. The guy was looking at 10 years, 20 years in total. He was not going to get 20 years. He should have got 5 years because you got the 2 cases. She dismissed one case, which is weird because if the 2 cases would have happened on a Tuesday and a Wednesday, then you say, okay, maybe it's one event. So I'm just going to dismiss one. But they happened apparently a year apart. So you can't really say it's one event if it happened a year apart. Mm-hmm. So why did it get dismissed? Right? You know, if there's a police report, aggravated stalking, were you around? Were you stalking him? This dude's a dog. Obviously, he was stalking her. So he just got a free 10-year stalking case dismissed. So this is an amazing, this case, even this offer might not be accepted. This is a sweetheart fucking deal right here. Now, if it is just one case, if he had only been arrested one time, 3 years with 1 to serve, that's fair. That's fair. For one arrest, a violation, that's probably a little bit too strict, to be honest. I don't know. This is a fair case. This is a fair offer for one. So I'm thinking about this in real time. For one case, all right, this lady put a TPO on you and you violated and got to go to a year in prison. That's fair. But the issue is she had 2 cases against you and 1 was dropped. So this offer is fine for the one case. The real issue is that the other aggravated stalking case was dismissed. That's the part of the sweetheart deal. That's what makes this deal so sweet. It's that a whole fucking case got dismissed. All right. Number 6.
Misha was not informed of the plea deal extended to Mr. Monson prior to him accepting, which is a violation of the Georgia Crime Victims Bill of Rights. There's a law there, which provides individuals who are victims of certain crimes specific rights.
Yeah, this is bad. And all district attorney's office have, again, this is what I was telling you guys before, they have a, you can call them like a victim's advocate. And so the victim's advocate needs to let the person know, hey, here's how the case is going. Do you want to show up? These are the trial dates. Do you want to write a victim impact statement? Do you want to speak at sentencing? It's the liaison. Mm-hmm. So this guy was offered a deal and the guy accepted the deal before she even found out about the deal. So the liaison dropped the ball at best, and at worst, intentionally did not inform Misha about the deal. And again, Misha is not like you or me. Misha has a little bit more power because she's a goddamn Georgia legislator. So like, you're treating the wrong person poorly. Not that anybody should be treated like this, but if something's going to come to light, it is this. Guys, I just saw, shout out to Nate the lawyer, I just saw a video he did today where these cops were beating up these protesters, which happens all the time. And what happens when a cop beats up a protester? Nothing. Well, the cops beat up this protester. Guess who the protester was? Undercover cop. Undercover cop. Damn cop got $23 million.
Wow.
$23 million, got a $5 million suit, and then a $23 million suit, and is suing 2 or 3 other cops. Right? Why was he able to get that much? Because he's not like you or me. He's a fucking cop himself. And they beat him up really, really badly. Whereas you or me, man, we get beat up in these streets. No one cares. No one cares. All right. So, you know, Misha is a somebody. We're all somebodies, but she's a somebody. So they're treating a somebody like this. All right. Number 7.
Yeah. Additionally, Misha did not approve of the negotiated plea deal extended to Monson. Marcy's law, which is the law we just talked about, applies to victims of aggravated stalking. In September of 21, Monson pled no contest to aggravated stalking. He received credit for the time he already served. Monson's plea deal was not appropriate according to Fani's interoffice policies or her stated priority of protecting women. Fani, by her own words, created the first DV unit in Fulton County. Additionally, the negotiated plea deal Fani offered Monson did not align with the office's sentencing guidelines. On information and belief, it is not Fani's office policy to offer a one-year jail sentence to a criminal defendant being charged with a violent crime when that defendant has a prior violent history.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Further, Monson's shortened probation sentence was not consistent with the office's policy of recommending a longer probation sentence to men convicted of DV in an effort to protecting women longer.
Yeah, but again, guys, all this stuff that she's saying is like sha-la-la-la-la. It doesn't matter because we're just talking about office policy. Who made the office policy? Fani. Who can change the office policy at any time? Fani. So these arguments really aren't that persuasive. I mean, they got a little something, but office policy doesn't really mean anything, if we're honest. I mean, this stuff can change on a dime. All right, number 14.
Fani and her office failed to properly investigate the
Wait,
aggravated.
I just saw, I'll never look at the chat, but shout out to Eve. Eve said, treating a somebody like a nobody. That is the truth. That's a deep statement because under the law, we're all somebodies. And then you grow up and you realize we're nobodies. We are nobodies. And you got to fight to become a somebody. So they're treating a somebody like a nobody. I like that. I like that. Shout out to Eve. You're exactly right. All right. Number 14 again. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Fani and her office failed to properly investigate the aggravated stalking charges against Monson. Specifically, they failed to interview a single person who had witnessed Monson's behavior towards Misha.
Yeah, that's crazy. Guys, the district attorney's office, they hire investigators on staff. They have investigators who they pay every day. They're salaried employees. The Atlanta Fulton County District Attorney's Office has investigators and detectives on staff. And yet, through their investigators, they just didn't send them out to interview one person. That's crazy. Number 15.
Representatives from Fani's office made fraudulent representations in court in favor of Monson.
Representatives from the DA's office made representations in favor of the dog. That's crazy.
Yeah. Misha's disparate treatment as a victim due to defendant Commissioner Arrington's interference in the underlying criminal case. Misha has experienced disparate treatment under the law as a victim. Furthermore, due to Fani's bias towards Arrington, Misha has experienced disparate treatment under the law as a victim. Misha has been forced to advocate for herself and her safety, although that is Fani's role. Specifically, Misha took the following actions. In August of 2020, Misha was forced to notify the United States Department of Justice Office on Violence Against Women due to Fani's office failure to properly prosecute Monson's case at its inception. In October, Misha called Monson's bail company to inform them that he had violated his bail conditions by being rearrested. Judge Allerby later revoked the defendant's bond. In October of 2020, Misha filed a bar complaint with the State Bar of Georgia, alleging that Commissioner Arrington used his position to sway deals as a criminal defense attorney.
And let me stop right here. For this, I think that Misha's wrong. Filing a bar complaint. If you're filing a bar complaint because he is on the county commissioners and he has influence over the purse strings of Fani, then I agree with that. But damn near everything else she said against Arrington, I think is fair play if you're going to represent somebody. I really do. I really do. So the fact that she took this step to file a bar complaint against him, it's like, come on, man. But from her point of view, this dude, she's got a dog on him. What is she supposed to do? You're really leaving her with no options. So it's kind of messed up.
Yeah.
D.
Yeah. 3 days later, she filed an ethics complaint against Arrington, alleging that he had violated several ethical rules during the adjudication of the state's case against Monson. Misha had to attend more than 10 hearings from October 2020 to October 24th, 2021 regarding the adjudication of the criminal case against Monson, in part due to Arrington's several attempts to circumvent and influence the criminal justice process.
Yeah, and I don't have a problem with this at all, man. If I need 20 hearings to try to get the best deal for my client, I'm going for 20 hearings. Guys, in these cases, man, especially when you're an attorney, when you're a defense attorney, you don't give a damn about these damn victims, how many times they got to show up to court. You don't care. You care about your client and your client's family and your client's friends and how many times they have to show up to court, how many times your witnesses have to show up to court, how many times your witnesses have to come in from out of state. So nobody care about no victims when you're the defense attorney. That's not our job. Somebody else, they have a whole victims advocate in the DA's office to worry about the victim. So don't look at me. If my client, stabs some woman, I don't really care how many times she has to leave the hospital to show up to court. I'm not, the stabber is paying me. I know y'all think that might sound cold, but you stab a woman and then have your attorney care about her more than he cares about you. You're going to find out real quick when you pay somebody 50 grand where you want them to care. Right? So, I had to show up 10 times because the defense attorney was scheduling all these courts. Oh, well, guys, this is just how it goes. And again, it's not like she's supposed to be fighting this alone because there's a whole prosecuting attorney's office. That's what the whole victims advocate is for. It's not like Arrington is doing this himself. Arrington is a part of 3 people, 3 organisms. It's Arrington, it's the damn prosecuting office, and it's the judge. There are 3 bodies in this. So it's like, I'm going to file a bar complaint against Arrington. What the fuck did he do? All right. Number 10.
Yeah. She also had 6 different ADAs on her case. The last ADA who took Monson's plea was ADA Yolanda Mack. According to the Fulton County Deputy District Attorney Jill Hollander, the bouncing around of Misha's case was unusual.
It is not unusual for a case to get reassigned from one ADA to another. ADAs quit. ADAs go on maternity leave. ADAs go on vacation for extended periods of time. Like, this happens all the time. I have never seen a case where 6 ADAs were on the damn case. Now, Atlanta Fulton County has a high turnover rate, much higher than other places because of the stress and the workload and everything. So there is a high turnover rate at the ADAs, but 6 different ADAs, that is a lot. That is a lot. All right. I guess that's 21 or whatever.
Yeah. The Fulton County DA's office and Fani.
61. Okay. Whatever.
Yeah. The Fulton County's DA's office and Fani favored defendant Commissioner Arrington and Monson during the criminal proceedings, although Misha was the victim. Misha has suffered severe financial and emotional damages due to the defendant commissioner's involvement in the adjudication of Monson's case. Misha.
Wait, stop. This is just insanity. This is insanity. And I know y'all don't see it like this, and I'm biased. But it's like, if I'm fighting for my client and you're the victim of my client and you're saying, you're fighting too good and causing me emotional distress, I take that as a compliment. That means I'm getting my client extreme results. What do you want me to do, lady? You want me to do the opposite. You want me to send them to jail for 20 years. Then you'll be happy. But is my job to make you happy? This man paid me $20,000. What did you pay me? Who are you to me? You're nobody. Why are you saying that I'm causing you emotional distress because I'm doing my job to the best of my ability? Imagine LeBron James complaining that who did the Lakers just lose to? I'll let y'all know, man. I'm inside. I don't even watch fucking basketball anymore. Somebody put in the chat who the Lakers just lost to. Didn't they lose the series? I saw that on RCD World or whatever, those skits. Who did the Lakers just play? Does anybody know? Imagine LeBron James. Thank you. Shout out to the Quiet Storm.
Denver.
The International Quiet Storm. Imagine LeBron James suing the Denver coach talking about, oh, they played too good and it's causing me emotional and financial distress. They played too good and they kept beating us. Does it make any sense for one team to sue another team because they're making it hard? They're losing to the other team. This is what's happening. Misha's like, oh, we're losing. This is ridiculous. All right, number 3.
Misha suffered severe financial and emotional damages due to Fani's failure to properly prosecute Monson. Arrington was operating under the color of law when he caused Misha these injuries. Fani was operating under the color of law when she caused Misha's injuries. Arrington was deliberately indifferent to Misha's needs and violated her constitutional rights. Fani was deliberately indifferent to Misha's needs and violated her constitutional rights.
Now, Fani was deliberately indifferent to Misha's needs. Fani should be considerate of Misha's needs because Misha is a victim and Fani is the district attorney. So Fani should absolutely take Misha's needs into consideration. Where you lost me was when you said the defense attorney Arrington was deliberately indifferent to Misha's needs. This is craziness to me. I wish a victim would say, oh, lead attorney, you're indifferent to my needs because you're representing my husband. I wish a wife would. Wish a wife would come up to me saying, you're not caring how I'm feeling because you're representing my husband too good. Are you crazy? I'm going to file a bar complaint against you because you're indifferent to my needs. You're representing my husband. It's like, Jesus Christ. What do y'all want from us, man? All right, so we are going to look at the Fulton County Ethics Board. First, let me shout a few people out in here. Who do we got? And AV, you can let me know if you got any supers as well. Shout out to the One Lo-Fi. Thank you so much. Also, the One Lo-Fi gifted 5 memberships. Thank you. Really appreciate that. Shout out to Tay B. It says shout out to TLA and AV. Yes. Shout out to Bevan. Says for the non-Atlanta natives, Bankhead Highway was renamed afterwards. Donald Hollowell. Yes. Devin knows all about it. Now, most of the time they'll still say Bankhead. Habits die hard. But you're exactly right. Bankhead Highway, an important highway in Georgia here in Atlanta, was renamed after Donald Hollowell himself. Excellent. Thank you so much. Shout out to Hello, gifted 1 membership. Thank you for gifting the membership. Y'all better hope that whoever got that hello membership said thank you. I'm gonna go back afterward and start booting you guys if y'all aren't saying thank you. Shout out to Iconic Meerkat. Says if you like the content, leave your DNA on that like button. All right. I love it. Thank you so much. Icon Meerkat, really Iconic Meerkat. With respect on your name. Thank you. Shout out to Libra Law. Libra Law says our judges are all elected here in Houston. Yes, they all remind us of that fact vis-a-vis campaign fundraisers. They're going to hit you up every year, 100%. Every year that they're running, they got something for you, right? A pitch judge can make your life a living hell. So true. Do y'all ever play blackjack and someone hit when they should have stayed? They should have stayed, but they hit. What's the problem? They're right before you and they hit when they should have stayed. So if they would have stayed, they wouldn't have got an extra card. That card would have came to you. But they hit, and so they got the card. That card busted them, but that's the card that you needed. So then when you hit, you busted. But if they would have stayed when you would have hit, then you would have got the card and you would have beat the dealer. They did something to mess you up. What's the point? A lot of times when you're an attorney, You will have a case in front of you. The judge will call in 4 cases, and the case in front of you will piss off the judge. Now, the judge was in a fine mood, but you didn't get the number 1 spot. You got to sign the number 2 spot. The case in front of you pissed off the judge, and now here you come. And you looking at that other attorney like, why did you do this to me? Why did you piss off this fucking judge? You just made my job so much harder because now this judge is screaming and hollering, you leave and now I come up and he's still red in the fucking face. Look what you did. Look what you just did to me. That's the problem. Your cases are not being solved by AI. Your cases are not being solved by robots. Your cases are being solved by these damn humans. They get all into their feelings and their hormones and their emotions. They get carried away. And they can't let things go. Some of y'all will be on the road and get cut off. You'll be mad for 15, 20 straight minutes and you just got cut off. Imagine an attorney in front of you getting you pissed off for 2 hours and now here I come. You don't know how to let shit go. So when Libra law says a pissed judge can make your life a living hell, man, y'all don't know. Y'all have no idea. Y'all have no idea. Thank you so much, Libra law. Thank you. You are so right. Libra law knows. Shout out to Deonra Walton, a new member. Thank you. Shout out to Trucker T Brooklyn in the house. Shout out to Fanny Pants, Gorilla Grip Willis. Shout out to Casey Cat. Says, can I just point out AV is the absolute cutest Southern Belle ever. I will not let that stand. This lady is not a Southern Belle. She's super cute, but she's from the North. She's down here now. She's from the North, though. You really listen to her. You can hear that damn accent. But is she the super cutest ever? Absolutely. 100%. So thank you so much, CCat. 100%. Shout out to Marty Short. It says, for the suit fund, keep up the good work, brother. Thank you so much, Marty. Super appreciative of you, brother. Thank you. Super generous as well. All of y'all are so generous. Marty's like, I'm going to hit you with the 50 spot, brother. Thank you. Shadow Warrior says AV is definitely from the Bronx. Here we go.
I'm not from New York. I will not claim that ever. And no shade to people in New York, but I'm not from New York. I'm from Boston. Okay.
New York. All right. If you're from Georgia, New York and Boston are basically the same thing. But
they're not.
Like, no, they're not.
Very, very different.
They are not. Thank you so much, Marty. Really appreciate it, brother. Thank you. Look who we got in the chat. We got Fanny Gorilla Grip Willis in the chat. Shout out to Fani Willis. Shout out to the Fani Willis. You're getting sued, Fanny, under the RICO. What does Fanny say? Says, my udders lead. I'm getting tired. You were milking them so much. I need a longer break, lead. That's too damn bad. Shout out to Fanny Gorilla Grip. Look at the pose. Shout out to Fanny Gorilla Grip Willis, one of the excellent trolls we got over here. Thank you so much, brother. Thank you. AV, you got any cash outs?
Yeah, there's 2 that I want to read out real quick. One, Positive Cash Flow hits me again with another 50.
Dang.
And says, shut up, I'm talking, it's my time, make me. That interaction was so crazy. Positive Cash Flow, like just to hear Arrington in a meeting, and that's how he's talking to other people that are up there with him. It was a little insane. So thank you so much for the Cash App. I really appreciate that. And then another 25 from Julie. Shout out to Julie. She says, you got to check out the Clayton Eckerd case. Have you guys heard of that one? Clayton Eckerd. That was a man that used to be on The Bachelor, I think, and a woman is suing him because she claims to be pregnant from a blowjob. So that's an interesting one.
Yeah. Big shout out to Devin. Sent me 5 on the Cash App. Says Bankhead was renamed after Donna Hollowell. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Devin. Thank you. And shout out to my man Sin. Shout out to my man Centennial G. sends me 824. Says, I remember the CDs. One called GTD. That's what it is. That is what it is. So shout out to my man, Sin. Thank you so much. All right. Let's get back into it. You want to start here at number 8?
Yeah. So now we're talking about the ethics board complaint. In October of 2020, Misha filed a complaint against Arrington with the Fulton County Ethics Board. In part, Misha made several allegations against him stemming from the improper use of his political office for financial gain. Misha compiled all these violations into a formal ethics complaint, which she submitted to the ethics board.
Yeah, let me jump in. I have to agree with all this. Like, how can you be on the commission controlling Fani's money and your client is a person that Fani's prosecuting? So Fani wants money and you're representing the client, that the man that Fani's prosecuting. That cannot be the case. It just can't be the case. Number 10.
Specifically, Misha cited more than 30 Fulton County Code of Ethics violations committed by Arrington. In December, Carrie Foster, secretary of the board, contacted Misha and informed her that the board would be considering 3 of the violations she had alleged against Arrington. In March 21, the board failed to follow proper procedure while adjudicating the ethics complaint against the ethics complaint Misha filed against Arrington. Specifically, Secretary Foster informed Misha that the board was conducting an informal hearing to decide whether Arrington had violated any ethics rule and that the attorneys would be present. However, during the hearing, Arrington was present with his attorney. Additionally, the board refused to hear the jail calls between Arrington and Monson, although Misha's allegations were directly supported by the jail calls.
Wow. So the board refused to hear the jail calls. Interesting. Okay.
The board cited attorney-client privilege as the reason to hear the calls, although there was a third party on the jail phone calls with Arrington and Monson. The third party is the wife, guys. Furthermore, the wife, Monson's stalker wife. Furthermore, the board failed to seek a judicial ruling as to whether attorney-client privilege pertained to the jail calls. In March of 21, the board closed Maynor's complaint without holding Arrington accountable.
Wow. So the board let him off. Is that surprising? No, there's just so much corruption here in Atlanta.
It's so bad. It's so bad. Let's talk about when Monson got out of jail. So, November 21, Monson was released from jail. Monson immediately began stalking Misha again.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
As soon as he got out, he started stalking her again.
That is insanity. He's a dog. He's a
Can't
dog.
get him off.
That's crazy.
As a condition of his probation, Monson was ordered to have no contact, directly or indirectly, with the victim, Misha Maynor. After being released from prison, Monson began showing up to events hosted by Misha's friends and neighbors.
Oh my God.
Then, November 18th, Misha ran into Monson as she was exiting a gas station near her home. The gas station was a few hundred feet from her home. On November 18th, Misha informed the DA's office of this incident. Neither ADA Mack or Fani took action against Monson.
Wow.
December 10th, 2 weeks later, Monson attempted to enter the Cloverdale Legislative Office building where Misha works.
He is showing up at her job.
Right after he got out. Right after he got out.
He's a dog. She got a dog on her. She got a dog on her.
Capitol Police stopped Monson from entering the building due to him being on the do not enter list.
Oh my God.
Monson told the police that the state campaign's ethics office had instructed him to come in person to the building to testify, and that's why he was there. Mr. John Cusack, the chief counsel for the state campaign ethics office, stated that Monson was not contacted nor instructed to testify.
Wow.
On December 13th, investigator Brian Hill of the Atlanta Police Department began an investigation into whether Monson violated the temporary restraining order Misha had against him by entering the building where she works. As part of this investigation, investigator Hill watched body cam footage from the Capitol Police and interviewed witnesses. Investigator Hill concluded that Monson had in fact violated the TRO by entering that building.
Wow. So the APD, the Atlanta Police Department, concluded that Monson had violated the TRO. Interesting.
Investigator Hill was prepared to pursue charges against Monson due to this incident. However, the DA's office refused to prosecute Monson's violation, making a warrant futile.
Wow. This dude, this dog, he's untouchable. They just don't want to do anything with him.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Specifically, ADA Yolanda Mack states, it doesn't appear that his intentions were to violate the order, but simply give testimony on his ethics complaint against you. He didn't have any contact with you directly or indirectly. That's what the ADA said.
And this is a woman. Excuse me. This is a woman saying this, that the man who she has all these TPOs against, the man that just spent a year in prison, shows up after the release of prison at her job. And she's like, oh, he didn't have any contact with you.
Yeah, at her job where she works.
This is insanity. And from a whatever. This is
crazy. Yeah. Again, ADA Mack and Fani refused to take any actions against Mr. Monson.
All this is true. This Misha lady is right on point with this. All of this is true.
Yeah. So let's start to look at what Misha wants. So her first claim, and this is kind of what Lead was leaning towards earlier. Of course, it's IIED. It's intentional infliction of emotional distress, right? She's saying that against Arrington in his individual and official capacities, and Fani and her individual and official capacities in the district attorney's office. Misha realleges and incorporates by reference all preceding paragraphs above. This is a law right here, so we're going to probably skip that on what the law against that is. It says that Arrington intentionally used his public service position to disrupt the criminal proceedings against Monson. Arrington intentionally circumvented the proper policy and procedure of the Fulton County District Attorney's Office. Arrington intentionally used his political power to intimidate Misha. Arrington intentionally had ex parte communications with the judge, Kim Adams, who was briefly assigned to Monson's aggravated stalking case. Arrington was reckless due to the nature of the charges against Monson and considering Monson's prior criminal activity. Arrington's behavior caused Misha severe emotional distress, including public humiliation by the release of the jail phone calls, which she was called names. Misha fearing for her life, being threatened by the jail phone calls. Misha fearing for her life due to Monson's threatening presence and constant stalking. Misha having to move more than 3 times in 1 year out of fear for her children's lives.
Excuse me, Jesus,
3 times
in 1 year.
That's a lot.
See, those TPOs, man, they protect you, but they really don't.
Mm-hmm. Misha suffering from severe anxiety and depression to the point where she was forced to withdraw from her doctoral studies and from working and forced to take medication. Misha experiencing strain and trauma of her children living in fear.
Yeah, I mean, this dude proposed to her in front of her damn kids.
Yeah, that's strange. Arrington's actions caused Misha to experience intense feelings of intimidation, humiliation, embarrassment, concern, and fright to her physical health and safety, and extreme outrage, which caused Misha to experience and continue to experience severe emotional distress. Misha had been injured by the actions of Arrington, and Misha is entitled to damages, including an award of reasonable attorney's fees and cost of litigation in the amount to be proven at trial. Fani intentionally used her political power to dismiss a legitimate legal claim against Monson. Fani intentionally offered Monson a plea deal that contravened Misha's interests. Fani intentionally showed deference to Arrington and his client associate Monson to the detriment of Misha. Fani intentionally instructed her ADAs to compromise and advocate on behalf of Monson. Fani intentionally failed to prosecute the probation violations against Monson. Fani intentionally turned a blind eye to the biased relationships between Arrington and Superior Court judges. Fani intentionally failed to recuse herself from Monson's case despite Arrington informing her about the case and Misha prior to her taking office. Fani's behavior caused Misha severe emotional distress, including, I think some of this is the same.
Yeah, we can skip down.
Yep. Fani's behavior was reckless due to the nature of the charges against Monson and his prior criminal history. Fani's actions caused Misha to experience intense feelings of intimidation, humiliation, embarrassment, concern, fright to her health and safety, and extreme outrage, which caused Misha to experience and continue to experience severe emotional distress.
Yeah, let me jump in because, like, this is
a lot of it's the same.
All right. Oh, the RICO.
There it is.
The RICO.
There it is.
Damn RICO. Jesus Christ. Racketeer, influence, and corrupt organization. All right. Why don't you tell us what we got going on right here for the third claim for relief?
This is interesting, guys. And I think it's probably the most powerful thing in this document is Misha is using something that Fani likes to use all the time. RICO. She's used it against teachers. Fani's used it against Trump. Fani's using it against YSL. And here we have someone on the other side of the coin that's using RICO against Fani.
Yes.
So what does it say? It says Commissioner Arrington and his personal professional capacities, Fani and her personal professional capacities in the Fulton County Ethics Board. Misha realleges all the paragraphs above. This claim is brought pursuant to, the law, which is here. It should be unlawful for any person through the pattern of racketeering activities and proceeds therefrom to acquire, maintain directly or indirectly any interest or control of any enterprise, real property, personal property, including money.
Okay, let's skip down a little bit. Let's start right here, the 25.
Defendant Commissioner Arrington engaged in a pattern of racketeering behavior by tampering with evidence in violation of the law.
Jesus.
Influencing witnesses in violation of the law. Making false statements and writings against public officers in violation of the law. Bribery in violation of the law.
Bribery? Who did he try to, well, I guess you could say he would try to bribe Fani with the money, maybe.
Intimidation of a court officer in violation of the law and obstruction of justice. Now she tells us how. Arrington tampered with evidence by speaking with Fani about the case before she was sworn in.
Yeah, and technically, again, guys, this is I guess it's not proper, but if you're going to speak to anybody, much better a district attorney coming in than the judge. But yeah.
Yeah. Arrington influenced witnesses by encouraging Monson to file a false claim against the sitting judge. Arrington made false statements when he filed fraudulent motions when he was Monson's defense attorney. Arrington commits bribery when he releases money to the DA's office in exchange for preferential treatment when he is working as a criminal defense attorney.
Bribery, damn.
Arrington committed intimidation of a court officer when he negotiated with former DA Paul Howard and current DA Fani Willis instead of ADAs who were assigned to Monson's case. Arrington obstructed justice when he had ex parte conversations with judges when he discussed Monson's case with Fani prior to her being sworn in. These offenses committed by Arrington were not committed as an occasional practice, but are a part of a systematic and ongoing pattern over the last 5 years within the legal system of Fulton County, Georgia.
Jesus.
This pattern has been concealed through a scheme of intimidation by Arrington inflicted on the citizens of Fulton County. The ethics board conspired with Arrington.
The ethics board, everybody, it's all a conspiracy down here in Atlanta.
Yeah. The ethics board conspired with Arrington to engage in a pattern of racketeering by prematurely closing out the ethics complaints against him through plaintiff Misha. All right, here's what Fani did. She alleges Fani of engaging in a pattern of racketeering by bribery in violation of the law and obstruction of justice. Fani engaged in bribery when she gave Commissioner Arrington and Monson, his client, preferential treatment under the law. Fani obstructed justice when she failed to properly investigate the criminal cases against Monson, offered him a plea deal that was inconsistent with office policies, and failed to prosecute his probation violations. This claim is pursuant to OCGA, which provides a civil action remedy for any person aggrieved from these allegations. The statute also provides injured parties with a cause of actions for 3 times the actual damages sustained, and where appropriate, punitive damages. Such an injured party shall be entitled to recover attorney's fees. And here we go. We're going to land the plane, guys. Here's what she wants. Misha respectfully requests that this court enter a judgment against the defendants, granting Misha the following relief. She wants compensatory and consequential damages, including damages for emotional distress, humiliation, loss of enjoyment of life, other pain and suffering on all claims, economic losses allowed by the law, special damages in the amount to be determined at trial, punitive damages on all claims allowed by the law against the defendants in the amount to be determined at trial, attorney's fees, she's not paying for it, including expert witness fees and all claims allowed by the law, and pre and post judgment interest in the lawful rate. Such other relief that the court seems just and proper. Misha demands a trial by jury on all issues that are so triable.
There it is. There it is. So she wants a jury trial. Who do y'all think is more right? Do y'all think Misha is right, or do y'all think Fani is right? What do you think? What do you think? Now, this Misha lady had a lot to say about the defense attorney.
Mm-hmm.
I see very little wrong, except for the conflict about the money. That's a big no-no. But it seemed like he was just advocating for his client and using his power to do it. And if any, Lord knows, guys, if anybody's going to use their fucking power for good or for evil, right, it's going to be this dude right here, right? It's going to be Arrington, Marvin Arrington Jr.
Is that off?
Like right here. There he is, the son of Marvin Arrington Sr. This is the attorney who represents the stalker.
We got a signed letter of intent. Shut up. Just come on. Shut up. I'm talking. Just a minute.
You're not talking to me.
Shut
You're
up.
not talking to me.
Shut up. I'm talking.
Make me.
I'm talking.
Make me.
I'm talking.
Make
It's
me.
my
Just a
time.
minute. Make
It's
me.
my time.
Make me shut up.
It's my time.
I didn't think so.
Yeah. Is that off?
Does this look like a man who's going to throw his weight around? Does it? Would he do something like that? What do you think about this case, AV? Do you think who are you? What's kind of your considerations when you see something like this?
Yeah, no, just thinking about all of it and seeing it in context, I don't think that it was cool to drop, like if there were 2 charges against him, I thought it was interesting that Fani dropped 1, right? Also, if she is an elected official, and you guys remember when, Lead and I would cover some of these documents, Fani would also throw around the fact that she was an elected official. So if an elected official actually has a stalker and they're not even safe at work, where the stalker is showing up to a legislative building, Fani and team did not charge him for violating his probation when he did that. So I thought that was a huge problem. Hearing the aspect of a defense attorney, though, was interesting, because when I first read it, I didn't even think of that. Right. Yeah. So, to hear your perspective is interesting. Right. Because I know Arrington and her have been going through this for such a long time. And if Paul Howard was around, then this was like an inherited case that Fani's office took up.
You're exactly right. Exactly right. Big shout out to Life on 18 Wheels. Says Fani just can't take a hit. Time to sit it down. Fani, 100%. Thank you. Shout out to So Miami Sam. Did I read that right?
Yeah. Miami.
So MIA Miami. What? I don't have my glasses on. I can't see it.
Yeah. Miami. I don't know if it's I am Sam. I don't know.
Sam, I am Sam.
Yes, there we go. We're like, it looks like the word Miami. I mean,
I messed it up when I said Miami. I messed it up. We just stopped reading it after that. But I ain't got my glasses on. Must be a bad pimp. Says, Lee, I'm going to need you to represent me in court after I fuck up some people for not liking, subscribing, or sharing. Okay? Keep up the good work. Thank you. Thank you so much, Sam. I am Sam. We were going to get the word Miami out that bitch.
Right. We see it.
We really were. Thank you so much, brother. Now, we heard from, I showed you a little clip of Marvin Arrington Jr. Explained to you who the senior was, how he was an icon here, and also talked about Mr. Donald Hollowell. Now we are going to take a look at another person. We all know who Fani is, but this is Miss Misha. All right, this is Miss Misha herself. So let's watch a little bit of this as she talks about the case and kind of gives her side. This will be pretty interesting. All right, so let's see. Let's see what we got here. This is Misha. This is the woman who was being stalked. This is the woman who was getting songs from the dude. This is the woman who was proposed to in front of her kids. Of course, she's team light skin for whatever that's worth.
Oh my God.
It's just jokes. It's just jokes. And the dog, the husband, the dude proposing to her, he has a whole wife at home.
That's crazy. It's so crazy.
All right, so let's see what she says about this.
Qualifications Commission is evident due to the actions of the Fulton County District Attorney's Office. My lawsuit against Fani Willis, Marvin Arrington, and the Fulton County Ethics Board stems from this necessity. Stalking, often misunderstood, involves repeated, unwanted behavior, causing fear or distress. It's a serious issue affecting millions annually, with most victims knowing they're stalkers. The Netflix documentary, Can I Tell You a Secret?, sheds light on this issue. Stalking behaviors include harassment, intimidation, and even violence. Despite its prevalence, misconceptions persist, hindering support for victims. Stalkers exploit various tactics, from relentless calls to spreading rumors. They often target former partners and engage in something called proxy stalking, which involves third parties. Victims endure emotional trauma, and the risk of violence is significant, especially with intimate partner stalkers. The failure to address stalking perpetuates the cycle of abuse, highlighting the importance of legal measures like the Prosecuting Attorney's Qualification Commission, or PAC. It's crucial to support victims and hold accountable those who neglect their duties, ensuring justice for everyone. Stalking is repetitive. Stalkers create a pattern of repeated unwanted attention and contact towards a person. It's an obsession I don't believe they themselves even realize. Their focus is unrelenting towards the victim. A stalker harasses and intimidates a person over and over without ceasing. Examples of stalking are showing up at someone's home or their job uninvited. If Fani Willis investigated my case, she would have spoken to my secretary at the Emory Healthcare, who would have shared with her, my stalker repeatedly came to my job to harass me. Repeatedly calling victims at unreasonable amount of times. It could be up to 50 times a day, but they'll make up excuses or lie as to why they had to call you 50 times. Stalkers will cash app you money unsolicited, and you have to block them from sending you money. Stalkers will repeatedly wait for you at your car and surprise you with I was just in the area. Stalkers will also call you from other people's numbers once you block them. Stalkers will leave threatening voicemails on your phone, vacillating between thoughts of undying love and hate if you do not call them back. They'll send you letters to their victim's job in an effort to try to get them fired. They will try to blackmail you. They file motions to appeal their restraining order because they truly believe they are not a stalker. Stalkers get other unknowing and knowing third parties to harass and intimidate you. Proxy stalking. Stalkers will stalk former spouses, friends, sexual partners, or people they sexually assaulted. They spread rumors about their victims, and they do everything they can to belittle and humiliate their victims. Once they realize they can't have you, disgust for their victims sets in, and they try to destroy the person's life. When people repeat rumors they heard from a stalker, they are unknowingly participating in stalking the victim. There are approximately 13.5 million victims of stalking in the United States every year, and I want to give you a few stats. 67% know the person stalking them. They aren't strangers, as most believe. 1 in 3 women and 1 in 6 men are stalked. 16% of transgender people. 9% know their stalker from work. 75% receive unwanted calls. 57% have their stalker show up unexpectedly. 52% are surveillance. 40% are targeted by intimate partners. They threaten to share intimate images of their victims. 74% of former intimate stalkers report violence. 1 in 5 use weapons to threaten or harm their victims. It increases for intimate partners by 3-fold to make it a fatality. 22% of them will post inappropriate things and personal information. PA Fani Willis. I discovered concerning actions that were brought to my attention from an investigative reporter. It revealed collusions between my stalker, aided by Fulton County Commissioner Marvin Arrington, who also served as my stalker's personal attorney. This conflict of interest is alarming, as it compromises the very justice system meant to protect victims. Despite presenting numerous witnesses, DA Willis did not interview one single witness. Over 20 were presented, including my pastor after he joined my church. This pattern of neglect and
let me say, this lady has done way more than a normal victim in helping the prosecution, and the prosecution has just turned their back on her. She presented a list of apparently 20 people, including her pastor, to Fani, and Fani sent her detectives to talk to none of them. None of them.
That's terrible.
Insanity. Like, Fani just does not care about this lady. And it's so weird is because this lady is actually a somebody. Mm-hmm. She's not a nobody like us. She's in our Georgia legislature. She's in the House of Representatives. She doesn't, Fani doesn't care. Why doesn't Fani care? It's not like Fani hates this lady. It's not like Fani loves Arrington Jr. Can you, is that the type of guy you can really love? But it's the money. We've all seen how much Fani loves money, needs money. And Arrington not only controlled the purse strings of her money, but was arguing vigorously for her to get every penny she wanted. So if someone is out there arguing and fighting for you to get money, and that person doesn't like this person, you don't like this person.
Yeah. And here's the best part. Yesterday, there was a Georgia Senate hearing on the finances, investigating the financing between the district attorney's office and how that funding gets to Fani's office. So this dropped this week, and then that Senate hearing just took place yesterday. So it's interesting how all this is coming out around this time.
100%. And shout out to Apex, because this needs to be stated too. Misha, this lady right here, she was a Democrat. Mm-hmm. All this stuff started happening to her. She said, fuck the Democrats. Fuck Fani. Fuck the Democrats. She joined the Republicans because of this, in large part because the Republicans were pushing a bill to get prosecutorial oversight. Like, who oversees Fani? Like, there needs to be something. So she switched on this for, I think, allegedly, principally because of this issue. So shout out to the Apex. Is absolutely right. Let's keep going.
Misconduct persisted, violating my rights under Marcy's law as she offered a plea deal without consenting me. The passage of the Prosecuting Attorney's Qualification Commission is a vital step towards accountability, providing recourse for citizens failed by the system. Fulton County Commissioner Marvin Arrington chose to take a stalking case against a state representative, all while he oversees and appropriates funds to the DA's office. As a criminal defense attorney, Fulton Commissioner Marvin Arrington defends his clients in the same courtroom he appropriates and has unlimited access to the judges. DA Willis is charged to represent victims in Fulton County, the very people Commissioner Arrington's private clients seek to dismiss claims against. 2 attorneys, family friends, law school classmates, opposing each other, with one having the authority to chop up charges to benefit the other, and one with the authority to vehemently advocate for funding. A perfect storm for an unknowing victim. During jail.
Oh, are you muted, TLA?
Sorry. Yeah. Damn, they went to law school together?
Yeah.
They were classmates in law school. Arrington and Fani. So they both went to Emory.
So they've known each other for quite some time.
Since law school. So they don't care nothing about They don't care nothing about this lady. Nothing about her at all. Damn, let's go.
Jail calls. Commissioner Arrington and my stalker plotted various actions, including manipulating judges, leveraging political influence, and conversations that were had between Commissioner Arrington with Fani Willis before she was even sworn into office about my case. Commissioner Arrington discusses getting favors from the chief jailer of the Fulton County Jail on behalf of my stalker. And the criminal behavior of other elected officials, past and present, is discussed on these jail calls. Despite presenting numerous witnesses, DA Willis contacted no one. DA Willis and ADA Yolanda Mack admitted awareness of judges favoring Commissioner Arrington. She never fought for me as a victim, a Fulton County resident. She was always in the pocket of the commissioner and retaliated against me after I contacted the U.S. Department of Justice Office of Violence Against Women, because DA Willis repeatedly allowed my stalker to be released on bond for non-bondable crimes and failed to notify me of court proceedings repeatedly. She never mentioned to the court her conflict of interest and that when she was discussing my case with her close family friend and my stalker's attorney, Commissioner Marvin Arrington, before she was even sworn into office. The Georgia Democrat Party's decision to grant a convicted felon, previously jailed for 1 year for aggravated stalking, allowing him access to voter data poses a serious risk to every Fulton woman. Campaign software driven by GPS data exposes private information of registered voters without considering the implications of allowing unqualified individuals on the ballot.
Wow.
Today, accountability is paramount, especially with the Fulton County DA failing to assist citizens affected by domestic violence, stalking, or unjust incarceration. The establishment of PAC offers a crucial avenue of justice, addressing challenges faced by non-legal professionals in navigating complaints against misconduct. Recent legislative changes led by Commissioner Bob Ellis ensures that offices funded by Fulton County adhere to ethical standards, safeguarding the rights of citizens. The communities I represent are disproportionately affected by DA Willis's office, particularly those with underperforming schools. Despite laws mandating timely indictments, many languish in jail for months without resolution. Fulton County's jail stay average is 291 days. The national average is 30. 37% of inmates are unindicted in the jail. 3 people unindicted have sat in the jail longer than 2 years. This prolonged detention often is overcrowded in overcrowded conditions, reflects a failure of justice and basic human rights. It's imperative that the legal system upholds its duty to prosecute promptly or release detainees. Each person in the jail is someone's child, parent, sibling, or loved one. The Georgia General Assembly set clear guidelines for DA Willis, requiring her to indict individuals in custody within 90 days. Those arrested without bond must have their case presented to the grand jury within the same time frame. There are no exceptions to this law. If individuals have been incarcerated for over 90 days, while the DA takes extended vacations with her special prosecutor, it's a direct insult to Fulton County families and those in jail. Consider this: sleeping on the floor for—
Yeah, and shout out to Ivan. Ivan's like, what happened to the Black woman empowerment energy? I mean, it really needs to be said that a Black man is representing a Black man who is trying to strike that, who is actually stalking this Black woman. And it is a Black woman who has turned her back on this Black woman. So it really kind of lets you know, like, it's all Black, you know, Black people, white people, but when it comes down to it, man, money is money, right? Because if there was anybody, the only person on this earth that is in the best position to protect this Black woman besides herself is another Black woman. And that Black woman has turned her back on Misha. So it's deep.
2 years without facing a judge is not justice. It's a glaring example of inhumane neglect, which the law is designed to rectify, either prosecute or release. The ACLU reported 503 unindicted inmates that were incarcerated at least 90 days. 447 were sleeping on the floor. DA Willis is required to notify a judge if a person remains in jail on felony charges without indictment for more than 45 days. Sheriff Labatt faces a significant challenge with his colleague neglecting her duties, leaving him to manage an overcrowded jail. If DA Willis addressed the backlog as requested, lives could have been saved. Everyone deserves justice. By the end of 2023, 90% of the people in custody were Black. This is not a time to give awards to people for failing to do their job. The Georgia General Assembly enacted a law mandating bail amounts to reflect a defendant's income. Excessive bonds can be rectified swiftly under these laws. Mismanagement in the DA's office shouldn't jeopardize someone's livelihood. Before I go to the next speaker, I want to say one last thing. DA Willis, backed by Commissioner Arrington, has spent millions prosecuting 2 celebrities. This allocation of funds adversely impacts the residents I represent. Standing up against political figures like Arrington and Willis is daunting. Living in a system that feels broken and corrupt and facing retaliation for protecting my family is disheartening. Yet I am supported by brave individuals that were not scared to stand next to me. There are also many brave individuals that have been contacting me about their stories. To those listening, don't hesitate to share your story. You have a community of supporters that will assist you. If you've been victimized by Commissioner Arrington or DA Willis, contact my office. Remember, victims should never blame themselves for things beyond their control. There's no excuse for anyone to violate, harass, intimidate, or stalk you. Trust your instincts and take steps to protect yourself. I'm going to have LA Pink from the Street Groomers come and speak.
Good evening, everyone. I am LA Pink. I'm the president and first lady of Street Groomers. I stand here today in honor of our state representative, Misha Maynor. I hate that she has to endure the things that she has had to endure, but we've been talking about this for years, the abandonment that Fani Willis have left in Fulton County.
Ooh.
So we're going to stop it right there. But we got a chance to hear from Misha as well. If you want, you can check out the whole video. But yeah.
It's a lot. It is a lot.
Right.
And it's like a lawmaker that's going through something like this. It's not a regular person like us or you guys in the chat. This is a legislator in Georgia that's like, wow, I can't even get my case processed through the Fulton County District Attorney's Office.
100%. So I think, guys, we will go ahead and wrap it up there. Shout out to Life on 18 Wheels says, Fanny just can't take the hint. I think I already read that. Shout out to Iconic Meerkat says, just had to hear you say my name again. Thank you. Well, say his name, AV. Say his name.
Iconic Meerkat.
There you go. All right. All right. Excuse me. Big shout out to BLJ. Sends me $25 on the Cash App. Thank you so much. Says just because. Really, really appreciate that. Shout out to my man BLJ, one of the pillars of this entire channel. All right, guys. Well, I know that first of all, really want to thank everybody here. Also, are you caught up on Super Chats, AV?
So I just have 2 that I want to read out really quickly. Shout out to BLJ, who also blesses me. Thank you so much, BLJ. He sends $20 and says, just because. Thank you so much, Brandon. Really appreciate that. And then shout out to Jim. I haven't seen you in forever, Jim. He sends $30 and he says, I hope you have a great weekend, AV. Thank you so much, Jim. Really appreciate that.
Out to Jim. Yes. 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 So really thank you guys for being here. Want to give a huge shout out again to everyone, specifically Marty as well. Thank you so much, Marty, for blessing the stream. And of course, our co-sponsors. We got our man Ron gifting 20 memberships. Shout out to Ron being a co-sponsor. Okay, Ron, high value man through and through. Excuse me. And then we also have our man, high value man on deck. Huge thank you to everyone, specifically you, high value man, and specifically you, my man, Ron Alexander. They were the co-sponsors, guys, of this stream that y'all were watching. And I think a few people have covered it. Hopefully we covered it in a different way, giving you an insight, giving you a perspective that other people have not. So if somebody could write Ron and HVM on deck in the chat, that would be fantastic. I know, guys, that this was a Saturday, but thank you guys for showing up. AV, if you want to let people know again where they can find you.
Yeah, you guys can find me here on YouTube at the handle you see on the screen, AV to the 7th power or AV7 official. On Instagram, I talk about all things law, crime, political debauchery. Find me on those platforms.
Sounds fantastic. Yes. And I know that y'all have been patient in having us review this this civil complaint here against Marvin Arrington Jr. and against Fani Gorilla Grip Willis. And we have given our insights on that. But please remember, guys, that nothing we have said is legal advice. I am not your attorney. I am the lead attorney, and I'm here to help you lawyer up. All right. Big shout out to everyone, and especially our co-sponsors, Ron Alexander and High Value Man on deck. Shout out to you, brothers. Thank you so much.